Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. One of the main points of tadabbur is noticing the pronouns and especially the shifts between them. And what amazes me is to see the human being using the third person pronoun to summon the divine qualities at the beginning of Al-Fatiha, in the first half of Al-Fatiha, then shifting to second person when he calls upon the divine in the second half of Al-Fatiha. Look at the grammatical shift here and concentrate with me. All praise be to Allah, Lord of all realms, speaking about Allah by using the third person pronoun. The all merciful, the bestower of mercy, third person pronoun. Master of the day of recompense, still using third person pronoun. So from the start of Al-Fatiha, all the talk about Allah uses the third person. So one would expect the coming ayat to be also in third person. So I'm expecting to hear, it is He we worship and it is He we call for help. But at this point, a grammatical shift occurred from third person to second person. If you don't know what a grammatical shift means, you should watch the episode called How to Ponder the Quran, even if you don't know Arabic. What you are watching now can be considered an exercise about how to do tadabbur or how to ponder the Quran. But the methods of tadabbur and pondering in general have already been explained in those episodes in a playlist called How to Ponder the Quran, even if you don't know Arabic, on Bridges Foundation YouTube channel and on my personal Facebook page. And one of the most important aspects of tadabbur or pondering is noticing grammatical shifts in tenses of verbs and in numbers and in pronouns, toggling between first, second, and third person. Here in Al-Fatiha, we have a grammatical shift from third person, where it is talking about a person who is not there, to second person, where it is addressing someone present. So instead of it is He we worship and it is He we ask for help, which we were expecting, we have it is you we worship and it is you we call for help. It is you we worship instead of it is He we worship. After you just recited the divine qualities which are ghaib. Ghaib means hidden. All praise be to Allah, the all merciful, the bestower of mercy, master of the day of recompense, all of which are hidden divine qualities. So with this grammatical shift, it is as if you have brought forth all those hidden qualities, all those hidden divine qualities that you believe in your heart, as if they are present in the realm of the manifest. With your faith, you made them manifest. They were manifested to you. So you speak to Allah as if you're talking to Him directly. It is you we worship and it is you we call for help. Guide us to the straight path. Here you are embarking upon a journey of purification and cleansing by calling out to Allah directly. Starting ayah 5, you are not speaking about Allah anymore. You are now speaking to Him as if you are in His presence. So the first half of Al-Fatiha is basically words of humans about Allah, and the second half, words of humans to Allah. So read it with me. All praise be to Allah, Lord of all realms, the all merciful, the bestower of mercy, master of the day of recompense. All these are hidden things. You summon them forth by the grammatical shift in it is you we worship and it is you we call for help. What do I mean by you summoned it forth? These are all hidden things that you believe in. So your faith and belief in them was able to bring them forth from the realm of the hidden to the realm of the manifest. You believe that Allah is the all-merciful, the bestower of mercy, and with that faith, you were able to bring Allah's mercy into your heart. He is the Lord of all realms, and you believe without any doubt that He is the Lord of all realms. So that belief was effectively brought into your heart, as though it is no longer something ghaib. It is no longer something hidden. Let me simplify this for you. When someone is actually holding a mug like that, he will never say, I think I am holding a mug. Because this is something manifest, something he can actually see and feel. When you perceive something with the different senses of touch, smell, and sight, there is no room for saying you believe or you think, because it is manifest. But matters of belief are not felt by the five senses. You cannot touch Allah's mercy. You cannot see Allah's mercy. You cannot hear Allah's mercy. They are in the domain of hidden things, which the Quran calls in Arabic ghaib. When you say it is you we worship and it is you we call for help, that is the epitome of faith, because you have summoned the hidden and you are directing your words to Him as if you are literally in His presence. You don't ask someone who does not exist. You ask from people who exist. So when you speak to Allah directly like that, this is a manifestation of your belief in Him and in His existence and in His ability. Another thing to ponder about sign number 5, ayah number 5. It is you we worship and it is you we call for help. Basically, it means we worship you and we call upon you for help. That's what it means. But that way, you could be worshiping others with Him if you articulated it like that. Nothing would prevent you from saying, we worship you and we also worship so and so. You could just add an and, then say, for example, we worship you and Buddha, or we worship you and Jesus. God forbid. But the way it is articulated by making you at the beginning of the sentence implies that you worship Him solely. The way it is worded, it is you we worship, makes it impossible to add an and then add another name. The wording structure makes it that impossible. So in Arabic, it is إياك نعبد, not نعبدك. If it were نعبدك, which means we worship you, you can say نعبدك والمسيح أو وبوذا. But it is إياك نعبد. You cannot add an and or wa in Arabic or also in English. So once you say it is you we worship, you have closed the door in the face of worship to any other entity. When you say it is you we call for help, you have closed the door in the face of asking any other entity for help. Now let's ponder the essence of worship as a concept. Of course, one of the biggest points of dubiety raised about Islam is the issue of worship. Whenever you say the word worship, the first thing that comes into people's minds is sign number 56 in Surah Al-Dhariyat. وَمَا خَلَقَتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And I did not create the unseen beings and the human beings, but to worship me. Atheists always use this ayah against Islam. They say, so this God created humans and unseen beings just so they could worship Him? Does He need to be worshipped to that extent? To start with, we must understand that there is a difference between worshippers or servants and slaves. Ibad and abid. All people are abid, slaves, by predetermination, while only some of them are ibad, worshippers or servants, by choice. There are certain aspects regarding you and I that are predetermined, things we did not get to choose. You didn't choose your father or your mother or your sex or your race or your color or even when you would be born or when you would die. So regarding all of these aspects, we are not held accountable. We won't be questioned about them. They are all predetermined. So technically, we are all slaves, forced into certain things that we have no choice about, whether we are believers or not. And there are other things where we are required to choose. We are required to believe in Allah, but we are not forced to believe in Allah. Most people on earth are disbelievers. We are required to do good deeds, but we are not forced to do them. Commanding us to do these things does not mean that we are forced to do them. It means that we are required to obey God, but our free will allows us to choose whether to obey or disobey. But the problem is that some evil things that Allah has forbidden satisfy our desires. In fact, nearly all of them do. That's why they are tempting. And that's when man falls into turmoil. Should he choose pleasing Allah out of love for him, or should he choose to satisfy his own desires? Some people abstain from committing sins out of love for Allah, despite the fact that they have the means to commit those sins, like someone who does not drink alcohol, although he can very well afford to buy it, and although drinking is permitted in the country where he lives. Despite the fact it would satisfy his physical desires, he turned away from it out of love for Allah. So no one forced him to obey Allah. He chose that. So worship is a mixture of obedience and gratitude together with love. A slave master can force his slaves to obey him and thank him and praise him, but he cannot force them to love him. From that we can understand the meaning of, "And I did not create the unseen beings and humans but to worship me." In other words, it means, and I did not create the unseen beings and humans but to obey me and praise me out of love. That's what worship means. As for obedience, obedience to Allah does not bring about anything but good things. What good did Allah forbid us? Nothing. Allah forbade drinking and gambling. How many families were damaged by these two things? Thousands of families, millions of families were wrecked by alcohol and gambling all over the world. Everyone knows how harmful drinking and gambling are. If people become addicted to them, families are wrecked. Everyone knows that, but still governments allow them. Why? Because it's business. There's a lot of money in them. So governments compromise their subjects' interests for money. But Allah does not compromise your interests for anything. Anything else good that Allah forbade? What good did Allah forbid? Lying or killing or stealing or adultery? Therefore, obeying Allah is in the interest of man, full stop. And what about praise? Praising Allah is the least we can offer in return for all the blessings we have been pondering for the past 5 halaqahs actually. So we don't need to talk about praise more than that. We've been talking about praise for 5 whole halaqahs, for about 2.5 hours. Now, so what else is left of worship? Love. Allah created you so that you can love Him. Love Him with all your heart and all your body and all your mind. Among the 10 commandments of Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, is to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. And in the hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "O Allah, let me love you with all my heart and with all my strength, and let all my love be for you." To recap, we are all predetermined like slaves regarding the predetermined matters that we have no choice about. And some of those slaves are servants and worshippers of Allah. But that's in the matters where they have a choice, where they have chosen their love of Allah over their desires. They came to Allah out of love, not forced. And those servants of Allah are not all on the same level. They differ according to the degree of their love for Allah. Therefore, it is you we worship and it is you we call for help. Technically means you are the only one deserving of being worshipped. In other words, you are the only one deserving of obedience together with praise and love. And only you are the one we call upon for help in the face of evil. Okay? This sign number 5, will need 2 halaqas. So let's stop at this point and continue next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.